Meeting is being recorded and away we go.
Good afternoon, everybody. The time is 5:31. We are in council chambers for budget meetings. First workshop, sorry. I will do a roll call. Councilor Pelletier,
Here.
Councilor Gould,
Here.
Councilor Wingan.
Here.
I am present. Councilor Danforth
Here.
and Councilor McGuire.
Here.
All right. I'll ask everyone to stand real quick and for the Pledge of Allegiance, remove your caps. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. I'm gonna hand it right off to the manager.
Hey, you.
Is that me?
I hope so.
Most days I do too. Okay, so welcome to budget workshop number 1 for the FY27 municipal budget. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. I'll share my screen. This evening, we'll be starting with an overview of wastewater budget, followed by, where is that coming from? Boy. And then we'll dive into the wastewater full expense and revenue budget because that is a nice, easy way to start. Then we'll overview the big picture of the current draft of our general fund expense budget and move to a selection of departments according to the schedule we put out. So for Millinocket wastewater treatment, FY27, given the state of finances and economy, this budget is practically a copy and paste of what it was prior year and includes no capital expenditures. We are at a point, we feel very strongly that within the coming months to the beginning of the next fiscal year, we really need to have an official survey done on our rates and understand how a change in rates may benefit our operation and budget. At this point, the operational budget expenses are at $1,003,494, and the revenue is $1,086,000. That is a total revenue over expense of only $82,506, which is it's pretty tight for operating. We've seen a lot of increases with the cost of electricity and heating fuel and that sort of stuff throughout this budget. And out of that 82,000, we do have one more number to finalize, and that is the mustering out of an upcoming retirement from that department, which is the last under the former personnel policy from that was replaced in the early 2000s, which allowed employees to collect so much time and pay to be paid out during retirement with vacation, sick time, and all that sort of stuff. Just so everybody knows, there is a name that is not in the right format in the waiting room, and I am going to So let's dive in. And just to point out that Jason Engels, our wastewater superintendent, is joining us on Zoom. So if there's anything you really want to learn more about in detail beyond what I can speak to, we can certainly have him chime in. So wastewater administration. This is very similar. We were able to trim out the legal services that had been in there for a very long time. Um, in an effort to, we were part of a coalition that no longer exists. It was a coalition to, maintain an argument on the water rights for the Tribal Sovereignty Act several decades ago. And we, for a couple of years, haven't been participating in that as the attorney for that group had retired and then it kind of dissipated. So we were able to trim 10,000 out of that for that legal expense. We brought supplies down about $500 and licensing fees are increasing by $1,500. So we've got a total wastewater administration budget of $107,200. That is the difference there is a decrease of $8,100 overall. Does anybody have any questions on this page?
Seeing none.
Fantastic. Next page is the wastewater protection. This is their insurances. We, this is a number that's not totally final quite yet. And nor is it in the general fund budget. But we have them in at the same numbers as a placeholder. It's very likely that this will increase when we have the final numbers. We finished just today with the new insurance rep to submit those renewal forms, transition from Millinocket Insurance to FAP body. The speeds have closed. So right now, as a placeholder, that is $36,600. Questions on that?
Do you know approximately percentage wise what you're expecting it to increase?
Can't even begin to guess. Preparing for last year's budget, we were advised to plan for 10% of an increase. And then if you all remember, when it came time for budget adjustments, when that bill finally came in, it was actually a 17% increase. And we needed to ask for a sizable chunk of money to pay that bill. So I don't dare estimate in this moment.
Understood.
Do you know when it will be ready? When we'll know?
I do not. Wait, the new rep, Millinocket boy, Luke Bully, yeah, he's great. Very communicative, open line, all the time. So if anything happens, he'll let me know as soon as he can.
Any other counselors?
Now you'll see the wastewater fringe benefit line is initially showing as zero. When we do have the final number for that retirement mustering out, we will update this and then provide an update at a future workshop. So it is showing as zero right now.
Any questions?
Okay, this is where the fun begins. Wastewater operations. This is, salaries, benefits, chemicals and testing supplies and things for the treatment facility out on Lagoon Road. Now in here, The largest increase will be the hospital insurance down there, line 3004. That is showing an increase of $40,000. I think that partially, will be, we're trying to get an eye on the full year and what we could expect in there. So there's one person that will be retiring come early fall, and then that person will provide a vacancy, and we will have to hire to fill that spot. And then when we have an unknown like that, we make sure it's the family plan so that there's enough to cover if that's what ends up being selected and provided to the. So there, that may have some wiggle room, but we really won't know that till we get pretty far into the fiscal year. Any questions on this?
Councilor Pelletier.
Yeah. Okay. Why? Okay.
Beating to it.
Well,
Yeah, so we, kind of look at the trends of recent year on consumption, and then, what's actually, being used and compared to what was budgeted for. So, we really felt like that was a strong number to continue in.
Any other questions? No.
Just had a quick
Yep, go ahead.
So do you have what your increases for your insurance, hospital insurance this year? Like your overall increase in general? Or are you just guessing?
No, we knew what the
You
We-
know what it is?
So ours is advertised ahead and takes place in January.
They all
So
would do that.
we just, so this is reflective of the increase that we received in January on, both sides, employer and employee. And then if Beverly or Amber had received updated information from there, that's what they would have used to adjust the difference for second
I'm
half
just
of next year.
curious what it was.
Numbers for how
It's 9.
month of our budget. We'll get a new number. Okay.
Right.
We've got it covered. This is at 9%,
9%.
which shows which provides the difference.
Well, I mean.
Every
we-
year,
we-
though,
we-
right?
we-
difference.
hey, that's not bad, but I know
Yeah.
some places have been told to expect like 16,
16 or
17%.
Place that had a 22% increase.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty rough world out there. So when it comes to the operations of the plant itself, overall increase $50,645. Overall anticipated expense budget for that department, $469,464.
any other questions? See none?
All right, the pump stations. Biggest difference you'll see in here is the electricity. Actually, you'll see that over in the general fund as well. But given the average cost recently and the usage in the coming year, our best guess is an increase of $16,970 for those pump stations throughout town. And a couple of other minor decreases, for other services that we bring in, and total increase then works out to $12,660 for a total budget of $105,700. Mr. Gould. Counselor Gould.
I was gonna say again,
The
I
fourth.
noticed here you've got fuel diesel actually with $1,000 less than the budget for 2007. And no change in vehicle fuel on this one.
Yeah, so the diesel fuel in this department is actually for um, uh, generators
Yeah.
at each of the stations, and we just been trending not to see as much usage there.
Different question for me. I noticed that, is it well cleaning?
Yep.
We have a $2,000 decrease. Are we projected to use all of the remaining $7,000 for this year?
It's pretty likely.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Or at least pretty darn close to it. We have some stuff coming up in the spring in wastewater that I believe it's the Allen's company that comes and does that service for us in the wet wells, and we've got some pretty extensive cleaning that needs to be done this spring.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? We good to move on?
All right, wastewater collections. Very minor increase here, $3,000. The bulk of that is, if you remember, last year we had gone and up to the flusher truck reimbursement payment made to our public works department. So that and that is to offset the salary of the additional employee that we took on so that we could run that flusher truck fully and do the entire town each year. And so that new number with the $1,800 increase is reflective of the 3% suggested COLA throughout the budget.
Any questions? You're good to move on?
Wastewater debt service. So we're chipping away at the various bonds for the different infrastructure projects that have gone on over time. Replacing infrastructure, fixing infrastructure, pipes in the under the roads, and that sort of thing. So this is, these are going to be our payments on those bonds in the coming year. It's a total of $213,348. And the total decrease is $1,201.
Any questions?
One.
Seeing none?
And as I mentioned before, although we would love to add some capital improvement on both properties or infrastructure and equipment, but with the limited revenue over expense, it's just not a wise choice to do this year. So there's zero capital improvement in the budget. And so we're back at the total for all expenses for wastewater treatment, and that is $1,003,494.
I know in one of the task force, I'm sure you guys are talking about potential capital improvement plans and making a list. But could you give me a broad idea of what you're looking at for possibly next year or the year after?
Oh my goodness. Well, we've got a couple of roofs on some of the either the plant itself or pump stations that really need to be replaced. There's the ongoing concern that was discovered a couple of years ago with the line, the pipe that feeds basically from Congress Street under the Millinocket Stream over to the main pump station. It was discovered that has some sort of leak in it and is absorbing river water. Yeah. So in last year's budget, we included, it was $40,000 for the service of having that scoped and inspected. We've yet to find out how much it would actually be to repair it. There's a couple of options. Most effective or efficient, I guess, would be the insertion of a type of sleeve that goes inside that pipe and kind of seals around. Um, that would be quite expensive. I don't dare put a price on it right now, but um, yeah, and Jason could really use a tractor. Geez, nobody laughed. It's like
Yeah.
it's always an ongoing thing. He wants a tractor.
Yeah, what kind of trip?
And so-
Can you expound on that?
I'll laugh to that one, Peter.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so I mean that's just a few of the, things. We also, the upcoming Bait Street project has quite a chunk of wastewater work in it. And that will be absorbed in the ban and then long-term bond that we are working on to pay that off. Um, there's just, it's an aging system. And the whole, it's just an ongoing thing. There's always pipes collapsing or sinkholes showing up, and we have to tackle it as soon as we can. So um, yeah, just not all that responsible without uh, doing the research to justify a change in rates, which is always something nobody really wants to do on this side of the table.
Any other questions?
All right, let's talk about the money that wastewater takes in to pay for those things. A reminder to all tuning in that wastewater treatment is not part of our tax raise, it's user fee. So, this is paid by your, sewer bills, and so outside of the tax raise. So under the administration budget, we are expecting a slight decrease in the lien costs. Just a decrease of $3,000. I believe that's the only difference in the whole budget. So that's a total of $1,083,500. And then, of course, fringe benefits, something that may be updated a little later on. Um, but there will be no revenue there. And then the wastewater pump stations. So this is the roughly $2,500 we usually expect from the town-owned RV dump station behind the Chamber of Commerce building. So that's a cash paid system in a lockbox and under surveillance. And when they dump and pay their bills or pay the box, we collect it and add it to this. So total revenue wastewater, $1,086,000.
Any questions about revenue as a whole? You're good to move on.
All right. Bum. So I'm gonna just zoom in on the bottom of this sheet here for a moment. Now, this is an overview of the entirety of the general fund expense budget for all other municipal operations and services. First column is FY 26 budget. Second column is FY 27 proposed, and then the third column is the difference. So If we do scroll up a little bit up here, you'll see several major increases. We'll talk about assessing later. That $85,000 isn't as scary as it seems. But if you come down to community services, this $120,000 here is reflective of, that's where we put our hydrant rentals and the street lights, both of which are drastically increased coming into this budget. We go down a little bit more. We have debt and interest, is a sizable increase as well. That's, we have the new fire truck and the street sweeper and that stuff that we've been purchasing recent years. And of course, we can't go without mentioning the $105,000 increase to the county tax. That is a wonderful service we provide to our community, where we provide a pass through between their tax dollars and the county, because we pay that tax bill. So, and then the second section is all revenue. Again, first is 26, then 27, then the difference, and then what's included in for the taxation. So let's back up for a second. In the expense side, all said and done, that is increasing by $477,693, with a couple of numbers that we don't have finalized quite yet.
That are gonna make it higher.
Very likely. The revenue side, we've done, pretty well in a few of the revenue lines. And, provided we didn't have so many non-negotiable increases, we could have been a lot more flush this year with those increases in revenue. However, we're not. And so if you come down to the box at the bottom left there, we total difference in the tax raise from FY26 to FY27 for the first time since I've been working as the town manager here. This is my fifth budget, and the first time we actually must have a tax raise increase. It is currently sitting at $215,167. That could fluctuate between now and the adoption of the budget. So it is it's not great news. That does include the revenue does include our what's been common 500,000 from the unassigned fund balance to offset some of those expenses, and then it with an additional 75 that we'll talk about when we get into the assessing budget, and that is a way around a very cumbersome process to handle a pending appeal with a major taxpayer. We'll get into that in a few minutes, though. Are we good on the overview? Any questions on the overview? Okay. So the first department on the agenda this evening is general government. So this one's definitely a wonky year for this department. So if you look at, for example, the council line, that is the current amount of the total stipends provided to the town councilors. And then, if you look at the previous years, we had some flexing around of trying to make up with, one year was, raised in excess because there was an expectation that stipends would increase, and then next year we carried forward that money, so we raise it again. So we're back to a fresh set there. The current rate is, or the normal rate is $8,800. So over last year's raised amount, $6,200. So we're just getting back to normal there. And then the rest of this is reflective of salaries and benefits. The bulk of this $82,000 increase is related to, again, that former personnel policy. There's another retirement in the works, from that former policy. So, one salary is meant to be, doubled basically for the first 6 months of the fiscal year, while that person receives the remaining benefits from their employment. And of course, the health insurance too. So that one outgoing employee is covered for 6 months, but for the full year, the new employee in that position is covered for salary and the benefits. So you'll see major difference in salaries there, and a big jump in the insurance. So that is, you looking for last night's planning board meeting? Oh, okay. All right. Any questions on this here? The total anticipated budget is $499,928.
Just a reminder, I'm not suggesting any changes, but we did change the process in our charter for the council portion. It's to be determined during the process we are doing right now. Again, not suggesting that process did change.
Yeah, right. Yes, he's right. The charter changes that took effect in January reflect a process where the council can make those changes to the amount paid in stipends to take place in the upcoming fiscal budget.
No question.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Who's gonna be the one that says it? All right.
It's got a new chair and fine.
I got
The new chairs were the raise, right?
They are great. So assessing. This, we've identified that it is, it's necessary. It's critical that we go back to, revert back to the 3 days a week. We did that one year and then we stepped away from it. But, with the, ongoing and, with the size and number of major projects in the works, we just absolutely need to have that expertise on site as often as possible. So that is our suggestion there. And then, so if you go down, I mentioned, the 75,000 earlier. So we have that here under outside services. Now, in the FY26 tax commitment, if you recall, we needed to raise an additional roughly $300,000 because of the expectation of a major appeal to come in from a major taxpayer. And for other projects, we've gone the route of passing council order and identifying, a certain amount of money to be set aside as an assigned fund or a designated fund. And then the work to facilitate that into the budget and expense is very cumbersome and, causes quite a headache. So our method this time is to allow, what is currently unexpected to be used from that 300,000, and take what's anticipated as the legal expenses over the next year dedicated to that one appeal, and and put it in using the unassigned funds. So of that roughly 300,000, 225 is expected to fall in to the unassigned fund balance. 75 is going to come into our operating budget to cover those increased legal costs.
Any questions?
Fantastic. All right, municipal building. Bulk of that increase has to do with electric rates. We've invested quite a bit of grant funding into improving our energy efficiency in the building. And we're consuming less, but it's costing more. So we're actually anticipating an $8,000 increase in the electricity for our building, given the recent bills and rates and that trend. And yeah, overall anticipated budget for the municipal building itself, $105,533.
Any questions? Not seeing any.
All righty. Winner. Our audit is expected to increase by $10,000, and that is a federally mandated. Sir, it is wild. It's absolutely. So that's the number we're working with.
Federal grant fund.
Yeah, largely to do with the amount of federal grants, and the process it takes to audit those. Did anybody have any questions on that? No. Okay, excellent. Legal expenses, I've left the same. If it comes down to it throughout the budget process and we need to find a place to shave a little out, I think we can safely dwindle this back a little bit. We've been using legal services consistently, but at a much lower rate than we previously had. So, we may end up with some remaining towards the end of this year, and if we need to look for a place to do that, this would be one place where we could shave a little bit off, maybe $5,000 to $10,000.
I was just gonna say I would feel comfortable dropping that 10,000, but I'd like to hear what.
To 1,000?
No, dropping it
10,000.
10,000.
Oh, 10.
Cheap lawyer.
We are at 1,000.
I am just gonna do all of our legal services now.
Yeah, right.
Just put it under my own.
Fine, it's fine.
Anyone have any thoughts on that?
Just
So current balance, 19,000, around 20,000. You drop it, it's gonna be at 20,000. Is that?
That's the unspent balance. So the column before that is the year-to-date
Yep.
expenses. We it's likely that we will. Yeah, I mean, we do have bond council work coming for the remainder of the year. We have our code group that's going through the code book. We'll be doing a lot of back and forth We've, it's hard to tell, but we can certainly keep an eye on it. Uh, You know, it's pretty likely that 20,000 would get us through the year. And if we're, coming through the year and we identify that really need some more and there's unspent from last year, we can always do a carry forward for some of the balance and play it by ear. But if you want to go 20, we could go 20.
All right. Anyone else? Hang on.
Is that direction to
No.
change? Okay. All right. Keeping it flat. All right. We are going to administration. So when you look at administration, you see the very top line. I've increased quite a bit. We're finding that the cost of the hourly rate of tech support and some additional machines on there, but we're also recommending that we finally switch to a paperless council, and we hook you guys up with laptops provided by our IT provider, and stop spending so much money on paper.
Yeah.
It
I hate all paper.
yeah, yeah. When you look at $30 a month for the cost of the laptop, and the what is it, $70 for a box of 55, $60 for a box of paper, and we go through those, like Werther's. So in an effort to do a lot less paper printing and wasting and spending, yeah, we've been toying with that idea each budget season, it seems, for several years, and I think it's time we do that.
Curious to your counsel. I'm indifferent to it, so.
I couldn't agree more. I've filled it out already, saving every piece of paper that has come through this. It's pretty astronomical. So.
The only concern I have is just condition, right? I mean, if it gets dropped and broken, or there's a lot of things that run through my mind just because tech side, I know how expensive they are. The only thing that concerns me is longevity of.
Yeah, so the way our arrangement works with Main Technology Group is that they own all of the equipment, and it's covered and insured by them and then replaced by them every couple of years. And so it's always, modern and upgraded and, fully, antivirus, firewall, all the protection stuff, 24-hour surveillance on all the connections and that sort of thing. So, I don't see it. I don't see that as being
So
really a
my-
huge concern.
My question still stands though. If let's assume one is broken and we are responsible for it, are we responsible for paying for that item? So like if I break my phone, I still have to pay a deductible to get it replaced.
Oh, we've never broken a laptop. I mean, you as an individual would not be.
But it's still money that that's what I'm saying. We
Right.
still have to.
I guess I could. I
I'm
guess
not worried about me. I'm worried about putting on a taxpayer if I break a laptop, right? I mean, it's.
We all have.
Yeah,
laptops
I mean-
in school. Kids all have them.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not
All
opposed
has
to it.
them.
I'm just.
Yeah.
the
I
only
guess
thing I'm
we've
worried about-
never really run into that. I can definitely look into it. I mean, we have what, 12 or 13 of them right now. We've had them for several years, never run into that sort of issue yet. So
Glad to hear it.
I can definitely look into it,
Just curious.
try to get an answer for, one of the upcoming workshops.
Not yet.
I'll tell you, some of us would like to
Yep.
pretty often.
Any other questions?
So this number, this increase by 8,000, you're planning on, if we're amenable to it, to go that.
Yeah, so
That what that
You know,
is?
I've got a little bit of fine tuning, I think, to do on that. I'm trying to judge what it would be to continue our, you know, hourly allotment at a flat rate for you know, tech support hours. And then if we go beyond that, it's, you know, so much an hour, it's included in our contract and then extend, and then additional if we go beyond it. Um, Kind of communicating with them about, you know, what's the unlimited, what can we do to prevent that? You know, we're trying to identify, you know, sometimes I look at the invoice and we're being charged for something that, you know, was on there because they did something wrong. You know, I'm kind of constantly watching those invoices and communicating with them about that. The council laptops are a little less than half of that increase.
Okay.
So they're, you know, give or take, there could be a little bit of wiggle room in that line too.
Cool.
No, I just love the idea because it's a lot of paper.
Yeah.
Well, and
Think of,
then,
like the time that
you know, and then
like
you're,
Diana has to put into copying all this and at least with a laptop, all this stuff that we get, I can save it in files instead of, like you said, having it everywhere and not being able to find anything.
oh, and then it removes your, you know, your official, you know, town council responsibility and communication from personal device to government device, which is just, you know, an added layer of comfort. But
The only other question that I have is the increase of the telephones, $2,514.
yeah, that's so we've got, that's another one that will be flushed out in the next several months. Because you'll see that, you know, current balance is in the negative, but we've hit some barriers along the way in that transition to the new service. So it is very likely that quite a few of the coming months will be credited to that account, and we will stop paying on that account. But yeah, that's roughly the cost. So we have, since the original budget was worked out for that, we've had to change a couple phones and add a couple of phones, and then with new employees, we had to add 2 or 3 cell phones to the plan, and that all comes out of that one place. So it's just reflective of what we think that increase will be.
Noticed at the wastewater, but I wasn't gonna say anything, but now we're looking at over $40,000 for telephones. This seems a little high.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're, you know, when you think, well, so that's so it's phone and it's internet, and it's for
That makes a difference.
it's
Yeah.
for it's for the entire layout of our municipal operations, so all locations, and we have you know, we used to have a terrible connection to the internet that was always bogged down, all that sort of thing. So this provides us with a dedicated fiber connection to all of our facilities, so we never have that issue. And we're all about to be on one phone system without separate phone numbers and, okay, hang up, call this number to get to wastewater, or hang up and call this number to go to, you know, Public Works. We could transfer, you know, around and through, you know, use it when working remotely, a lot more convenient as well.
Be great if that said telephone and internet. Because I wouldn't have said anything if it said that.
Yeah.
I saw telephone $35,000. I was like, oh boy.
So when you, mine's made of solid gold. So if you look back, you know, throughout the various departments and look at the telephone lines, you'll see that in the administration line, it has drastically increased, and it's been zeroed out in all of the other departments. So it kind of creates that offset because we now have it all on one phone bill rather than individual department.
I do like how we've condensed that on a departments over the years, just down to certain line items, so that's appreciated. Any other
Well,
questions?
hopefully there'll be more of that to come.
Fantastic. Any other?
Right,
questions?
Bev?
Nope.
All right. Next up on the chopping block this evening is our. I hit Jane's funny bone on that one. Okay, so we're the. Absolutely not. Very minor increase here on the operation of that department. This is, salary benefits, a little bit of increase on the travel, a little bit of decrease on the training and software line. The travel piece of that is mostly for back and forth to trainings and conferences and stuff, and beyond the code enforcement officer. This is where we also do training and travel and stuff for planning board members as well. So, plenty of opportunity there. Minor increase of $2,030 total operation of that department, 50,493. Offset. Um, you know, nearly 50% by the amount of revenue that we expect from that department as well.
Any questions?
Nope.
We're all set?
Great. The next on our schedule this evening is economic development. This one's pretty well flat except for the online code platform that has been put into this department. Yeah, for the first time, and then that is $6,000. It used to be, the first few years of that was an ARPA expense, and then this is the ongoing cost. It
Was
is
Expense, I'm sorry.
ARPA.
Oh, gotcha.
So the first few years were covered by ARPA, and then the ongoing cost is 6,000 for that platform. And people are using it more and more. It's really been beneficial to that. A lot of permitting, not a lot of payments coming through that system yet. For whatever reason, doing the thing online and then coming in to pay for
they
for
realize
the
they
permit.
can't-
Is there a fee to pay online or something?
Is it any different?
Is there a fee?
Is there a difference to pay online rather than in person? 2%.
So it's the sequence thing.
Yeah,
As long as they pay for it again.
yeah, as long as they pay for it. We pay for their convenience. They come and pay for the permit. Yeah.
They just like to see the smiling faces of y'all.
True that. Related, unrelated question. Are the tax maps uploaded to iWork yet?
I wish. No, not completed.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully soon. I think the reval is expected to be completed and finalized and entered by the end of this month. We would sure like to move to the tax maps as soon as possible. It was necessary to have that reval information finalized and in the system before we start pairing it with the tax maps and linking those to be available online and click and see the different property cards and that sort of thing. So this is the ending of the step before that. That makes sense?
Yes.
Any questions here?
One.
Yeah, on the economic development, I noticed that we were 9,329.99 over, but still going with a $20,000 budget for the next year.
Which part are you at?
Oh, sorry, on economic development? Did I?
What page is that?
13.
13.
No, you're right. There's a,
You're good.
Okay.
You're good. You're not crazy. You can have online.
I had.
yeah, so the original 2026 budget was, we had made that $20,000, with the expectation that we were carrying forward, an unspent balance, to offset that. And, the way this, so we had approved that carry forward several meetings ago. It's just not reflected in the way this report pulled. But there is a flush remaining balance in that line. I can report back to you on that.
Perfect.
Yep. Yeah, it's not actually negative.
That's how my wife thought of my checking accounts.
Any other questions in Department
Louis?
0115? Uh, well, we're just about, yeah, we're just about at zero on that. We've used most of that. But we don't include that as an expense when we're preparing the budget because it is a grant and it's not part of the tax raise. Not any longer. Not until we are allowed to apply for a new pot of funding.
We did have a discussion about this not that long ago, but I think it's better suited for offline, but Peter has identified a possible solution for what you're suggesting.
Right. I mean, even though, even if we, say we have $80,000 left in that account, we have some, Bev just mentioned we did a drawdown for those expenses recently, but it's not tax raised money. So we don't put it in the budget report because then we don't, we could just guess, we're going to put $100,000 in there, but then we move it from the grant funding into the revenue budget. Yes, but when you're awarded a set amount of money and then you spend that amount of money, there's no more money until you can reapply again. Uh-huh. If we can work with another regional entity that has brownfields money, or we could hire an abatement company to inspect an abatement and abate whatever is found. But this line is specific to the $500,000 grant that we received several years ago. And then as those expenses come up that we can charge to that grant, Beverly then feeds into the revenue to offset the expense. But it's not something that we ever put into the budget as an expected expense because we
Let me
don't
ask a clarifying.
know what it is, and then eventually it cancels itself out.
Councilor Pelletier, are you recommending that we add a budget line for brownfield grants? I mean, brownfield assessments? But What
That's correct.
What the
And-
manager is saying is that we had funding for that. We currently don't have anything, and that line is just for the grant that we got. So we would either need to make a new line that's not a grant and put money into it, or try to work with a regional entity that does have funding that may be willing to work with us.
Right, so, the brownfield. The brownfield funding is provided by the Environmental Protection Agency's brownfield program. Brownfield funding covers stuff like hazardous materials inventories, abatement of hazardous materials. So if there were no access to actual EPA brownfields funding and we needed to do a hazardous materials inspection of a property or an abatement of a property, we would use other economic development, like that is something that we could use, like line 3778 for. But I mean, as we've discussed pretty regularly, bi-weekly for quite a while, when, you know, so ourselves and our, one of our local partners, kind of have access to these funds, at like a leapfrog thing, like we have some and then they're expected to have some and then we have some. So like we've let them use some of ours and then, when they receive their next award in October, and if we need access to some of that to do our stuff, we can access some of theirs to do that. But yeah, brownfield grant stuff is never in the budget until it's used and then fed and then. Sure.
Any other questions related to Department 5?
New to this. No public
We
comment.
don't have public comment, but if you want to ask afterwards, I'm happy to get an answer for you.
All right, next department is community initiatives. I believe our outgoing community initiatives director and our new community initiatives director are in. New director is a wonderful person named Grace Brown. Excited to have her on the team. She started Monday. But
Throw her to the wolves.
what's that?
Welcome Monday. Go to budget on Thursday. Have a good day.
Yeah. Yeah. Budget's really hard for the department heads. So this budget is actually because of the transition in staffing, decreased by a total of a little over $20,000. It's set back to a starting salary in the position. After it had been reflective of individual pay increases over several years, but we're back to starting salary there, and then if you go down a little further with the insurance, that's going from a family plan, which has been moved into another department, and then this is a single plan. So, pretty easy. Most other things stayed exactly the same. We did trim that postage $10 though.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, we just thought $30 was too much.
In my opinion, it's penny count.
Yeah, all right.
That leads into another question. Printing and software. I noticed we only used $65 last year. Is there plans where this is a new individual to have for training this year, but potentially less in the future?
Yeah. So
Like,
I mean, yeah,
if we
basically.
removed that, or we brought it down to 250.
Yeah.
Would that impact anything at that point?
I'd have to get back to you on that. I have to look at what is usually charged from there. We do expect that, Grace as a new person on the team, will be, probably attending more trainings and conferences than what the previous director had in the last year or two. Uh, there's additional general assistance job duties on that position now. So there will be some trainings on that, grant seminars, that sort of thing. I can definitely look a little further into it, give you a more solid answer next week. if you want.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions related to the CID?
Next, all right, this is where we get into the big stuff for tonight. Uh, All other departments on our agenda for the evening belong to Public Works. This first department, Public Works Administration, is reflective of salaries and benefits.
Bless you.
Increase of $5,117 for those expenses, with a total of $130,020.
Any questions in Department 402? Council vote here.
Insurance for, yes, not under general administration, but under insurances. Insurances has its own department in our budget. So that'll be,
326.
yeah. Wait, what?
We're gonna be doing insurances at 326.
Oh, on 326, yeah. That's in our schedule for next week.
Any other questions related to 402? Seeing none?
Bada boom. Garage maintenance, we have that pretty well flat. Those are pretty par for the course. What we're seeing right now, and expense total is $36,500.
Building maintenance overage of $19,655.88. Can we drop that at all, or
Where are you?
we're on 403, correct?
That's the balance.
Right, I know, that's what's left in it, correct? Or is that?
Of every line above.
Oop,
Oh, no. Building maintenance, yes, there's an unexpended balance currently of $4,309.
Yeah. All across the board, though.
Right.
Are we gonna use all of those funds before the end of the fiscal year, or is?
Just about,
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of, there's several things that need to take place in the spring. So yeah, a bulk, if not all of that, will be spent out.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I was gonna ask about the remaining balance on the heating oil as well, because I noticed the budget hadn't moved from 2026 to 2027 at 13,000. And it was a cold winter, but I still see 5,700 for the heating oil.
So that kind of plays into the question that I
We
had.
have 4 months. We haven't Marches.
Uh,
Probably just getting February.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then, and then with the unknowns we have on, the spike now and where that may go in the coming year, probably leaving it the same as at least pretty safe.
This has the new heating system at the garage, right? We have the new one.
No.
Okay.
Well, we use, a bulk of it is heated by waste oil. We do have a waste oil furnace. which cuts that cost back significantly. But we also, we're part of the efficiency grant that we were awarded just a month or two ago that we will be accepting next week. Goes towards even further efficiency upgrades to that facility, and then other on that we're very likely to receive upwards of $200,000 here pretty soon. Will go to further insulating, placing and upgrading doors up at the garage as well. So, we feel pretty confident in that.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions?
Public Works, Roads and Construction. This is a department that spans 2 pages. So this is reflective of the overall payroll for the department, the benefits for the department, other repairs and maintenance things, tires, lots of materials. It also houses our paving budget, which is 2011. We've left that at 300. We were going with 300 last year, and then we had that opportunity to get Penobscot Ave downtown corridor fully done. So the council graciously approved a transfer into that account to cover that additional cost. But we're suggesting leaving it at 300. But we can certainly spend as much as we're allowed to have.
I feel like the biggest complaint I hear in Illinois is the. And I feel like this discussion, I feel like this discussion comes up every single year. And every single year I've made a recommendation to put more money into that line. But the one year that we had the presentation where we broke down the worst roads, where the money's gonna go, how much it's gonna get us, was so beneficial to me that I personally would like to see that again before I make a decision on and if I want to increase that line or suggest an increase that line.
Yeah, I mean, that is something we would do a little further in the process, but at this point, we really, we have a general idea of, what is left in those, in the worst of conditions. We had a preliminary discussion earlier this week around that one section of, stretch of sidewalk on Katahdin Avenue that we really want to get done. And we've had a list of goals for years at this point. We feel that this year may be the year to actually do that. It's quite an expense for $100,000 for that one stretch. And then we have, Wausau Street's real bad. Kelly Lane's are very bad. We had to divert course on the
Fucking late.
Bowden Street.
Mine was just done.
Bowden.
Good.
Yeah.
Councilor Potier.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you're welcome to do, you're welcome to suggest and pass anything you guys want in this budget for the most part. Well, I mean, that's the reality of it. My recommendations, I try to make responsible recommendations, with as little of an impact on the taxpayer as I can reasonably recommend. understanding that with several, services that are increased drastically outside of our control, and that this is the first time in 5 years that the municipal side of the budget has had an increase in the tax raise versus a decrease. Uh, I didn't feel comfortable increasing the paving budget, given that we're looking at an increase in tax bills of over $200,000 at this point. If that is something the council wants to do, we'll pave as much as you allow us to.
Before I go to council input, my request is just to see where our money will get us with 300,000. So the same presentation we've
Right.
had 2 years ago, if we do where we're at, $300,000, how far is it gonna get us? What streets will be repaired? And if we increase it by 100,000, what
Right.
extra is that gonna get us? That's my request.
Yeah, basically, Mr. Chairman, that's what I was gonna ask, just clarification, what, get us.
Yep.
Right. Yeah,
Take it.
we do that later in the process. And we've done that annually now, so.
Just
We
want to
just-
make it clear that that's what we're looking for.
Right.
Any other questions related to 407?
All right. Transfer site. It should not be a surprise that, stuff costs more. We're able to trim a bit on, some of the equipment and repairs, line. Things that we won't need to be spending on. You'll see that the, cost for us to, go to the landfill and tip our, waste materials there is increasing by over $5,000. The cost to dispose of tires is increasing by $5,000. So we're, a total budget that we're anticipating for the transfer site increases by just shy of $12,000 for a total of $531,681. Yes.
Not yet.
Okay. Any questions? Just for clarification, there's 2 pages to roads and construction. There's also 2 pages to transfer site. So
That is correct.
I just have an explanation of like the main PERS line, why that is so drastically different.
3008
Yeah.
has a
So-
difference of $357.
Yeah, girl.
I don't know.
There was a,
balance.
the open to balance.
$90. Am I looking at the right sheet?
You're on.
Well, this is the one I printed. Have you changed it since you emailed it to us?
Oh. Yeah,
Okay.
probably. You printed your own, right?
did.
Okay, you
I-
printed your own from before and
Stick-
these are all printed today. Apologies.
Okay. Never mind.
I think you're looking, hopefully, though.
Yeah.
I love budgets, my favorite thing.
Oh, yeah.
It is. I like it.
I love it too.
You sounded, buddy.
It's a great 4 months of my life, I'll tell you.
Any
that.
questions on 409?
All
All right, I'm not hearing any.
right. Cemeteries last for this evening. It's this is where we will rest.
Oh, really?
This is where we will end.
Go to rest.
Yeah, so very minor increases, pay for the crew up there. Total increase $1,233 total operational cost there. $80,660.
I do have a question for clarification. I've not asked this in the past and I probably should have. When the roads that are up there in the sections that are paved, is that in the Public Works Department side under paving, or is that under cemetery? Under some line item like maintenance or?
Well, I don't believe it's ever been in either.
It's
The,
good to know.
well, you know, part of the reason it's gated and closed off during, you know, or waited, we wait to open it until everything is completely dried out is because the pavement up there is so very, very thin. They were not developed or created, you know, like a road is. So, yeah, it's very, very thin. So it's not something we've budgeted to
I
air.
think Brian.
Heard done so far.
They do come out of the Public Works budget.
Good to know.
Some of the sections up there.
Thank you, Brian.
That's why I'm asking you. Some of them are extremely rough. Or bottom out. So,
And that's why we make sure the subject matter experts are here,
That's right.
because my knowledge of each individual department only goes so far. So, yeah, thanks. That's good to know.
what I say earlier, there's only two things guaranteed, death and taxes. So that raises the next question then is, you said that's the spring, we might have to do that, or the summer? So how much is that gonna impact the budget? Is that gonna be something we have to budget for outside of what we're?
I think
doing
it's
here?
about $64,357.
That's a very specific number.
I did just make that up.
Yeah.
Yes. That is, I don't, sorry, that may have been a rhetorical question, but I decided at this point in the night,
It was rhetorical, but.
that I wanted to make a joke. So,
Would it come
um,
That's my
Is it
question.
out of
Is
that
it come out of-
300,000?
it would come out of that 300,000.
Great, so that takes less away from the road. Got it. Fantastic.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
The only question I have, anybody else?
No.
Seeing none.
Are we, do you want to call for adjournment or
Nope.
that's the last department on our,
Anybody have any
Jennifer.
questions over anything that we've gone over tonight? So just if you have your paper, do you have any questions on workshop one's list? Not anything for the future? Unless you have something in particular you would like to ask. Not saying anything. All right. I don't believe we need a motion to adjourn, so I will,
Just
okay,
so
fine.
we-
We are adjourned at 6:54 PM. Thank you, everyone.
So next week, we have a